Hi guys, welcome to Genetics Creations. My name is Jen and we're gonna talk a lot about my newest addiction. This is the fleece yarn. I've seen a lot of people doing things with it and I just wanted to cover a lot of the good, bad, and ugly with this yarn. First off, I am addicted to it. It is so soft. And the only brand I have tried so far has been one by Michaels called Cozy Sherpa. And I don't know if they keep it year round. It's called Loops and Threads, but it is a Michaels brand. I will throw the link in the comments below. Very soft, very squishy to the touch. You can do a lot of things with it. One of the things that I tried to do was see how much you could use this. It does come in a variety of colors. I know there's a few other brands out there that have more color options that I am gonna be trying next. So stay tuned. If you haven't already, hit subscribe because I'm gonna be covering even more yarns and more projects and more tutorials, all things for you yarn addicts out there. For this one, I've done it in, I'm gonna be making a scarf. I'll also show some pictures of some different projects I've done. I've done several blankets. And most recently I did this vest, which is a pretty awesome option for a nice beginner wearable pattern if you're like me. And it's been super cold here lately. We've been hit with a lot of gnarly storms, so Sherpa has been my #1 addiction to try to stay warm and still stay cute. This yarn, while I recommend it for some beginners, I also don't if you're just now learning a stitch. So this is not your chance to do a super complex stitch or complex pattern. I have yet to see anyone do that and do it well. And part of the reason is because of how fuzzy it is. When you crochet, it is strong. So one of the good things is it's strong. Some yarn, as you pull, you'll notice it can actually come apart and even rip on you. I haven't had that happen with this yarn. So for heavier projects like blankets, you know it's gonna be durable, but it is really fuzzy. So when you get those loops and stitches, they can be kind of hard to see where your hook should go into. So if you don't yet know the stitch, like a single crochet or a double crochet, half double crochet, probably the only 3 stitches I'd recommend for this one. And then play around with your back loops only, your both loops, but you're not gonna be able to see your loops. You're gonna have to do a lot of it by feel. I know everyone out there has said it. So as far as any other tricks of the trade, that's kind of it. You're gonna be going by feel. The best thing I recommend doing is don't go too tight on tension. If you go too tight on tension, it's gonna be harder to feel the loops that you should be grabbing. We already know this with regular yarn. It's no different with the fleece yarn. But the other side of that is your hook will be more apt to find it for you if you have a nice looser tension. So don't go too tight. I know we all like to sit there and try to control the yarn. Let the hook do the work for you. I say it all the time, but let the hook do the work for you. Stick with your basic stitches. This one was a single crochet and I used back loops only so you can see how it creates a ribbed effect as you keep going. I've seen vests, I've seen blankets, I've seen scarves, a lot of different options. I've seen some hats. I haven't tried one with the hats yet, but I hope to do so soon. I think it goes without saying that you're not gonna be using your standard crochet hooks. So these are like your smaller crochet hooks. This one is a 4mm G for reference. You're gonna be going with a bigger one. This one is a N 10mm hook. I love it because it is still Susan Bates. If you guys know, I'm a Susan Bates fan, so I will throw a link for this hook in the comments below as well. The yarn actually recommended a 8mm. I have the tight tension problem. So to maintain my tension, I went up in hook size. So play around with what hook size you guys use. If you do struggle with tension, use a bigger hook. It will help you. Another great thing about the fleece yarn is because you're using bigger hook and a bigger yarn, your project's gonna go faster. So something like this vest probably took me 2 to 3 days, depending on how busy my schedule is. Mind you, I don't always crochet for hours on end. It's usually when I'm binge watching my television shows. Something like a blanket, while I have completed it in a weekend, if you're not going for hours at a time, it might be something that takes you about a week or so. But that's not bad considering blankets can usually take quite some time. Scarves, I probably can get through a scarf easily in about a day or two. Some of them maybe only a few hours. It just all depends. But these projects do work out quickly. So that's another great thing about this yarn is you're gonna end up with something quick, easy. So you get that instant reward that we're always looking for. Lastly, the products that you guys make, you're going to love. I've made multiple blankets. I did make one for my bed. I'm not gonna bring that. I will post a picture of it. So keep an eye out for that. But the smaller throws, fantastic for around the house. I'll also include a picture of another throw that I just completed. They weigh very nicely. So if you're one of those that likes those weighted blankets, it's not gonna be as heavy as a weighted blanket, but it's gonna be heavier than your traditional Afghan with these lighter 4-weighted yarns and whatnot. And it is going to be warm. Sometimes too warm, but I'd rather have that problem of being able to just throw it off for a few seconds to cool down and be able to get nice and toasty versus not being able to get as warm as you need in those cold days. So guys, try it out. It's really worth it. Let me know what you guys are doing with it. Let me know what other projects you've tried or maybe something else that you think might be a good idea in the comments below. Otherwise, stay tuned. I have more tutorials coming and more fun yarn reviews.